Hello, my name is Linda Glasier, and I work with Enterprise for Equity. We also work with Mason County's Asset Building Coalition, and today we're here to talk for the next few minutes about free money. Free money is pretty hard to come by, but in Washington State, they've recently passed the Working Family Tax Credit. So stick around for the next couple of minutes and let's see if you are eligible. So where did the money come from? What is this Washington Family Tax Credit program? Well, in 2008, the program was passed, but it wasn't funded. But the funding happened in 2021 to be rolled out in 2022, with money being distributed to families in Washington State in 2023. And there were three things that were supposed to happen with this money that we hope does. Stimulate the local economy, put money into equitable hands across the board in Washington State, and help working families have a little bit more cash in their pocket. So, what is this working tax credit? Well, for one thing, even though the name is Working Families Tax Credit, you can be single and qualify for this tax credit. And depending on your eligibility, your income, the number of dependents in your family, you can get up to $1,200 back. So take a look at the slide and see where your eligibility falls. So some of the eligibility criteria is you need to have lived in Washington for about 6 months of the year. You have to be over the age of 25, under the age of 65, and having children is one eligibility criteria, but remember, you can be single. When you file using either your Social Security number, for this credit, you can also have your individual taxpayer identification number. That also qualifies you for this program. And remember, you can get up to $1,200 back in your pocket. So take a look at this next slide and see if you qualify. Even if you don't have kids, you can get up to $300 back if you fall within the income range. And we have some examples for you to look at. This is important for you to have money coming back to you from Washington State. Department of Revenue in Washington State has worked really hard to make sure that this program is easy for people to apply for. You can go online and apply there in 2023 after you have filed for your income tax returns. You can do paper copies if that's where your comfort level is. You can go to the Department of Revenue offices in Mason County, apply there. Worked super hard to make it really easy for you to have access to this. So I promised this would be short, and we're about to wrap up this section, but let's do a quick recap. This is a new program. You're eligible in 2023. You have to have lived in Washington State for about 6 months of the year, over the age of 25, under the age of 65. Having children is a qualification. You can get up to $1,200 back using your Social Security number or an individual tax identification number. So now that we're looking at having money in your pocket, let's see what might be some good ideas to do with the extra that's coming your way this year. So now that you know that you have this extra money coming towards you, what are you going to do with it? And there's so many ways to spend unexpected extra money. But before we do that, let's look at what the experts have to say. Experts like Dave Ramsey, Susie Orman, Warren Buffett, Gigi Gonzalez. And here's what collectively they have to say about extra money when it comes to your financial well-being, your financial literacy, what you should do to make your life's journey with money smarter and easier. And the first thing to do is to start to create a small emergency fund. Right? Because everybody has emergencies that show up in their lives. It's the unexpected. It is absolutely without warning. Unexpected emergencies catch people off guard. But if you have even a small emergency fund built up, you can maybe catch that emergency before it puts you even further into debt or fund. And now that you've built up just a little bit of an emergency fund, the next step, step 2, is to start to look at your highest interest rate debt. Take a look at what you owe. And if it's got high interest rate, start to take this little extra windfall money and start to knock that debt down, because high interest rate debt is incredibly expensive kind of debt. So it's not super exciting, it's not riveting stuff, but it's super incredibly smart of you to sit down with all of your debt and grab a partner, grab a friend, grab a peer that will support you and help you. Sit down and look at your highest interest rate debt first. And then see if you can start to just chip away at it. A little bit at a time, and you could be cheerfully surprised at how fast it will disappear once you start chipping away at it. So the next step in your journey for financial literacy is to start to look at retirement. Starting to fund your retirement. So there's a couple of ways that you can do that. But one of the smartest and best ways is to go talk to your employer where you work and find out if they have a 401k program, if they have any kind of a retirement fund. But the thing that a lot of people don't know about a 401k is if your employer is matching your contribution in any way, shape, or form, if you're not taking advantage of that, it's like leaving money on the table. Or if somebody had money laying on the ground, just walking over it and ignoring. Nobody would do that. Don't leave money laying around. Not pick it up. It's free to you. Free money is kind of the best money. So you've been pretty busy now looking at these financial steps that will help secure your financial future, right? And this Washington family tax credit money that you started with is a really great step. But let's talk about the next step. Now that you've gotten your retirement, even just a little bit of money will add up over time using compound interest. So no matter how much you can afford for your retirement fund, start that. And you'll be shocked at how fast it grows. But the next step is to now fully fund your emergency savings. And the experts talk about having 3 to 6 months of emergency money just sitting in an account, just like a high yield savings account, or even just a savings account. But be sure you can get to it. Because like we know, emergencies happen. You have to fly somewhere really fast. Does a person go into the hospital, a member of your family, unexpectedly go into the hospital? Does the car break down and it's your way to work? Well, these are emergencies. And once you have an emergency fund kind of fully fleshed out, 3 to 6 months of your typical monthly expenses, here's what they say. Once you have an emergency fund fully funded, you'll stop having emergencies. You might have unexpected surprises, but you won't have flat out emergency funds that catch you completely off guard and put you further into debt, or in some cases, can even bankrupt your family. Having a fully funded emergency, 3 to 6 month savings account or account is really critical. And it can take time to get there, and that's all right. Just keep plugging away at it, and you'll be surprised how fast it will grow and how much better you might sleep at night. So the next step for a lot of people when they're thinking about what to do about finances is kids' college money, or where that's going to come from. That's the next step. It's like, where are we going to get all the money for college? And whether it's for your kids, or maybe your grandkids, or even yourself. And what if you want to go back to college? You can start to slowly add it up. Again, it's just that one step at a time, chip it away a little bit. But start to set some aside. And especially for kids, there's a lot of time often for that money to grow. And the other thing, talking about free money, is in Washington State, we have the Washington College Grant Program. And it is grant, which again means free money. And a lot of low to middle income people are eligible, whether it's fully funding your college education or even part of it. And all public institutions in Washington state are eligible for that. So take a look at your income. It's about your income, not the grades. So let's do a quick recap. We're here to talk about the Washington Family Tax Credit. If you have more questions, don't forget to contact the Mason County Asset and Building Coalition. We'll have their information here at the bottom for you to look at. And be sure to reach out to Washington State Department of Revenue. These are all resources for you to reach out to. If you have a Social Security number or an ITIN number, you've lived in Washington State for about 6 months of the year, over 25 and under 65, you might qualify, whether you're single or have kids, for some free money from Washington State. So reach out, check it out,